Ladies and ladies and gentlemen, I have Miss Carlotta Davis. She is a nurse practitioner, a diabetes educator, and she went from working in a private practice into starting her own business. And she's done very well for herself. She wanted to have more balance in life, and
Mhm.
working for other people doesn't always lend to that. So basically, what she did is she set out to create her own thing so she could have more balance in her life, spend more time with her family, and she's doing very well. So, Carlotta, thank you for joining and thank you for your time.
Well, Kurt, thank you so much for having me, and I'm very excited to share my journey and help anyone else that's out there looking for a solution or trying to make that jump because it's 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 not that hard, but it is difficult to make the jump. Even if you're doing well in your with your business, to go from an employee to a business owner and being self-employed, running your own business, doing your own taxes, having your own IRA, becoming a business person. And it was a jump that I finally decided I deserved to make. And I was sick and tired of trading time for dollars, but most of all, being micromanaged by others and not being able to live the life that I dreamt of, the life I deserve, and missing out on time with my children and my family. So that's what led to it. I had always had that desire to have my own practice. It was in there inside me to do something entrepreneurial so I can work for myself and kind of make my own time. But in order to do that, you require money. You require, if you're going to, especially if you're going to do a brick and mortar industry. And so what kind of happened to me is very interesting because it was not at all what I had planned to do. It just kind of fell on my lap. And back in, let me see, it was 2011. One of my best friends, she's my best friend now, but a good friend of mine, just shared with me a nutrition program she was doing. She said, "This is right up your alley." It's, I've always been into health and wellness and fitness. I've been juicing and eating organic since my 20s. And I believe that nutrition is the key to good health. If we can heal ourselves with the proper foods and with proper diets, we tend to use a lot of medications to mask things or to fix things when in fact it could be fixed by very simply with good nutrition, diet, and exercise. So
And
she introduced that to me, and I said, "No, I'm not interested." And a year went by, and I finally decided to take a look at it, not for a sales perspective or to start a business. I decided to look at it with the company's isogenics. I decided to look at it because I kept hearing good things, and I did my due diligence, my own research, and I was blown away. I was like, "This is everything I do for
mm,
myself plus more. It probably will help me." I mean, at that point in time, I was 47 years old. I was tired all the time. I was working full time as a nurse practitioner, 3 to 4 part time side hustles. So I was trying to get pay things off and create an income, enough savings so I could open my own thing. That's what my plan was. So
mm,
that's where I was when she approached me.
okay. And I'm going to edit this part out. So, was my intro about you okay? The way I described you?
Perfect.
Okay, okay, okay. Good, good. Just want to make sure. Okay, Jane, you're going to edit that out. This is 9 minutes and 22 seconds, so I can tell her where to edit. Okay. So, okay, great. So, yeah, I saw somewhere that, or I saw on your profile on LinkedIn, you kind of missed the, your first two children growing up, and then but you didn't want that to happen for your third. So, was that like the? Is it fair to say the maybe the biggest impetus for you wanting to go in a different direction was for balance in life and your children, or was there more to it than that?
It's a combination of things. So, as you heard me say earlier, I was working a lot, trying to create a secondary stream of income. I have these streams of income where I can get things completely paid off and have revenue savings to open up a practice. It requires, and I didn't want to take a loan. So
Mhm.
that was doing all these side hustles to do that. And I wanted to work part-time as a nurse practitioner so I could be home more. That's where I was.
Mhm.
Or open up a private practice that was cash only. In
Okay.
comes isogenics. and I'm completely closed to the opportunity. I mean, I told my friend, look, I'm going to do this because I've researched the products. I need something to help me. I'm tired all the time. And I see a lot of value. I mean, I was blown away by the science behind the products, uh, the nutrition in there. I mean, just everything was, it went hand in hand with all my beliefs and everything I believe about nutrition. There was no artificial flavors or sweeteners or things like that that I don't use.
Mm.
And I said no to the opportunity. However, like anything else, one of my girlfriends was like, hey, if you do that, I know you research everything. I'm in. Let me know if you ever do it. You know, we talk to people when we're thinking about doing things. And she's a good friend of mine. 4 or 5 months later, I think, when I decided, okay, I'm finally going to do this, I let her know, hey, I did it. Call my friend Jennifer and she'll set you up. And Jennifer was like, hey, she's your person. You can make a little rebate. I know you don't want to sell. So I made a rebate. And then she told me, I get another person in, I'll double that rebate. Well, I'm not a fool. So I called a drug rep friend of mine, said, hey, I know you do protein. Do you mind helping me out? He said, yes. So I made $150. I mean, nothing to write home about, but
It's a
still
start.
$150. And 4 days in, I was loving the nutrition of Isogen. I mean, I was just loving it. I felt great. I was like, my gosh, I'm back to being myself. I'm clear headed. I started sleeping through the night after day 4. So 3 months went by. And then I get an email that I had made commission and I'm real confused. I'm like, well, I said I was not going to do anything. Any sales, what is this? And I found $500 in an account I didn't know about. And that's when I was like, I'm sitting here doing all these side hustles. I haven't done anything with this except eat this amazing nutrition and feel better. And I've made $500, a little bit over 500. So I was like, all right, I'm curious. Now I'm intrigued. And I started looking at it and I said, okay, well, people were asking me, what are you doing? So I started sharing it and I started earning. And as I earned a little bit of income here and there, I started learning the industry of network marketing. And I finally, I see this thing and I'm going like, oh my gosh,
So,
this is what I've been praying for.
so
This
I
is,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no, but this is the vehicle that I've been praying for that can actually free me to open up a private practice or to be home to. And so when I
Mm.
saw that, I really went to work and started treating it like a business. And I made a decision. You know, people ask, what's behind your success, or it was easy for you. No, it's not. It's not that it's been easy. You make a decision to do something and then you set a plan of action and you stay consistent. I don't care what it is you do. If you open up a pizza shop, an ice cream store, you go into network marketing, you have to make a decision and then you have to show up. You can't just open something and then, oh well, I'm going to be closed on Fridays, or I'm not going to show up. Oh, I want to go on this vacation. Once you make a decision to become an entrepreneur, open up your business, you've got to be consistent and you've got to show up. And you have to have belief in what you're doing.
So so isogenics is a product that you were selling, and
Mhm.
you use that as a vehicle for your future aspirations.
Correct. I mean, Isogenics is a global health and wellness company with solutions for weight loss, energy, performance, healthy aging. Uh, there's a skincare line now, collagen. I mean, for being youthful, who doesn't want to look better and have decreased
Mm.
fine lines and wrinkles and better hair growth? And then there's wealth creation.
Yeah, I want
And
better
there's,
hair growth.
yeah, well, I can help you with that. We'll talk later.
What so so you started doing that, and then obviously you've done very well at that. And then what happened next in your, I guess, goals or progression
Yeah.
plan? So you got to a
So
certain point with isogenics, and then
exactly. So I started, it's not that difficult. Everybody's looking for solutions. So what I was doing was when I would hear somebody having trouble, or I just would say, "Hey, I can help you with that. Do you mind? Let me share some information with you. Is that cool with you?" And then I'd set up an appointment and I'd follow up. But what I really started doing, I worked this in the pockets of time because I was real busy at first and I wasn't in a position to let go of what I was doing, like some of these side hustles, because it brought in good money. And I wasn't really clear yet. I mean, I kind of saw it, but then within 4 months of really getting serious with this, between started working this in October of 2012. I mean, I started in July. I bought my box, and but never looked at it. In October is when I found the $500, should I say, and then I decided to start sharing it. Between that time and April of the following year, I was driving around, and all of a sudden, I mean, I had to pull off to talk to people that wanted to talk to me about isogenics, and I got them set up with their to get their nutrition sent home to their home. And by the end of that evening, I was working hospice that evening. I'll never forget. Was seeing hospice patients. I made $700 while I was driving, pulling over, seeing hospice patients, and closing, getting people enrolled. And I'm like, well, I just made in one evening what I do in 2 weeks of doing this part time. And I could have been home with my family instead of driving around and not, I mean, I love my hospice patients, but there's other people can do that. There's great nurses and people
Mhm.
that can do what I was doing. And that evening, I remember I came home and I told my husband, I'm going to let this go, and I'm just going to do isogenics. And I decided I'm going to let all the side hustles go. I'm just going to do nurse practitioner during the day, and then I'm going to set between 7 to 11. And this is key for anything you do. I set a time to work this, just like if I had this was going to be my
Like a regular
part-time
job.
job. So between 7 and 10, or 7 and midnight, sometimes 7 and 1 in the morning, because California was up, Hawaii's up, and this is a global company. I can reach out to people. I mean, I work with people in Australia. I have a team there. I've grown this globally. But in the beginning, I just set hours. And what was nice was, like, if Tuesday night my son had a baseball game, I just wouldn't set anything up. I kept a calendar, and I still do what I was doing years ago. I'm doing now. I paper calendar. I know it's old school, but it works. And I also use my phone. But
I use my notepad.
well, there you go. So I just started setting appointments, and if I had something, like, family came first. If I had something with my family, I wouldn't set appointments for that time. But I would work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday was a date night. Fridays, I kind of shut it off. I don't work Friday and Saturday unless, I now I work Fridays, but back then I was working full time. But now I work Fridays till about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And then Saturdays I wouldn't work, and Sundays I'd work a little bit, and that was it. So basically, it was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and off the rest of the day. But those days I would hustle. I would make connections during the day. If I met somebody at a store, and I remember one time I was at a shopping center and somebody who kept fussing about how they weren't going to be ready for their cruise. And I finally went to the lady, I said, look, I can really help you. This is what I do. Are you interested in learning more? She said, absolutely. We exchanged numbers, made an appointment. I didn't do it there. I just made an appointment, shared information, and that's how I built my business, word of mouth, and then using social media. I started branding myself on social media, started posting inspirational things during the day. I mean, during every morning. I started building a following, and I would put before and afters of people on my team. I would put stories. I would of what was going on, and it just grew and grew and grew. And I started helping people also eat for free instead of pay. I would help them get their products. They were having amazing results, and it wasn't that hard. That they're having a great result. They're a walking billboard, and they go, hey, my sister wants to know what I'm doing. My neighbor wants whatever I'm doing, she wants to do. And that's kind of how I grew it in the beginning. And then I just learned the whole industry. I was earning and learning.
What did you so you know uh, I'm on LinkedIn, you're on LinkedIn, and a lot of other people are, of course.
Mhm.
So can you, everybody's trying to grow on LinkedIn, everybody's trying to get connections and
Mhm.
clients, and so could you tell everybody maybe, here you are on LinkedIn, you had no leads at one
Mhm.
point because obviously you started this business at one point. What was how exactly did you, because obviously you have to grow your network, right?
Yes.
But the trick is, though, if you want to convert connections to leads, you got to network with the right people. So, for
Mhm.
example, if you're trying to target people who wouldn't need to get in shape, well, then you're not probably going to target CrossFitters. Um, so, would you mind telling everybody who's watching some of how did you go about targeting people on LinkedIn to find your ideal client? Did you target like a maybe a hashtag unfit over 40? That's just random, but
So I wasn't really using hashtags. What I did on LinkedIn, and actually, people that are fit, people, CrossFitters are great. I mean, so I offer solutions for performance. So I look at isogenics as something for everybody. Everyone can do isogenics. Now, not everybody wants to do a business, but everyone deserves the nutrition that we have because I was one of those people that was in shape, worked out, and I looked great, but I didn't feel, I was tired. I was at, my late 40s. And the people that are fit are really more prone to looking at this. But what I did and what I still do is the same thing. I am connecting with people. And when I connect with them, I'll send them a message, but I don't send a message to recruit them, or I think that's the wrong way to go about it. I get messages like that and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, hello, how are you? Not, hey, I'm a financial advisor, I'm this, and you deserve to have your finances looked at. And I'm like, whoa, like, how about, hi, it's great to connect with you here. Just like I did with you. I look forward to supporting each other on this platform because even if they don't want to do isogenics, I have formed some amazing relationships.
mm,
We support each other. We comment on each other's posts. I want to help them with their business. This is about helping each other. That's what LinkedIn is about. So if you go about that way, you're going to have a great network and you're not going to come off the wrong way. In the very beginning, yeah, I did send some things that were kind of spammy. I mean, I was learning. And then I started realizing I wouldn't get a response. And I started realizing, this is how would I be at a networking event or at a restaurant or anywhere you are out in public? You don't just go up to somebody and try to recruit them to your business, or you don't go up to somebody out at a restaurant and say, "Hey, you want to be at a podcast?" No, you might meet somebody and they jive, and all of a sudden you start talking, you form a relationship right there, and you go, "Hey, we should connect. I happen to have this podcast. I think you'd be great on it." And that's so natural, and that's what I've done on LinkedIn. Hey, how are you? I mean, people that are in service, police officers, they deserve to be thanked. I thank them for their service. And then I say, if I can ever help you with anything, please feel free to reach out. I'll send a message. If I can ever help you in getting your health and fitness uh, in the best shape, or if I can ever help you improve your health and fitness, and maybe even create a side hustle, let me know. That's it. But I'm not going to send them, a page long thing that they don't want to read
mm,
with a little link for them to sign themselves up. I'll send them my link tree, which gives them my website and tells them about me, but I'm not there to spam people. That's the worst
yeah.
way to work LinkedIn, Facebook, or anything. And I will say that created a six-figure income while I was working full time in less than 2 years. And I did it on Facebook and word of mouth. That was my first in the beginning. And I've just gotten good at just creating. I'm a professional friend maker. That's the way I look at myself. I like making friends and connections, and you just never know. Sometimes, people have thanked me. I met a judge on LinkedIn, a retired judge, and we've become great friends. He's invited me to come, me and my husband to go up there and watch a golf classic because he knows we like golf. But he sent me a message that he is down 14 pounds and he feels amazing and that I was a godsend. Is he
Nice.
building a business? No, but I have helped this man with his health and we become friends. And that's what this is about. This is not about just looking at money or my next sale. This is about creating relationships, having fun, and helping people find solutions to their problems. And if I can help, I'm here for you. That's what I do.
So what? But when you were reaching out to people, how did you target them? Because because when you're trying to grow your network, whether you're trying to do a sale or not, there needs to be a targeted approach. So I'm just curious, what
So
did you
I
do?
look at people that have energy. I look at people that have good energy. I love LinkedIn because it's like having a resume. So I'm looking and saying, All right, let me see what they're posting first of all. I want to see what they're about. I will tell you right now, if I go across somebody's LinkedIn profile and all they're doing is making comments on women and they're not appropriate, they're off my list. I mean, they're getting not accepted and blocked actually because
Mm.
I don't want them coming back to me. I'm looking at what they're into. Sometimes they say I'm entrepreneurial. I'm looking for opportunities. Those are people I target for that. Nurses. I love working with nurses. Really, for me, I'm a little bit different than most people that, if they have a niche, they're going to target, like, let's suppose you are a financial planner that works with the healthcare industry. You're targeting doctors, nurses, all those people that are in healthcare. That's your niche. For me, isogenics is for anybody. So I look at them, one thing I look at, are they in my country? If they're not in my, if my business, my company is not open in their country, I really can't help them. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to connect. I'm not going to target them. If they're in another country, but they are very influential and they bring value, I also want to I make connections with people that bring value. What are they posting? I really love inspiration. And if they're inspirational, I'm going to connect with them. And we're going to, even if they're not in my country, they're not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I
Y-
guess my advice for people that aren't like in my profession, you're looking for your niche and reach out to them, but don't try to sell them in your first
Yeah.
contact. Just say hello, how are you? It's great to connect with you. Let's support each other here. You can even say, this is a little bit about what I do. If I can ever help, let me know. And it's cool to tell them what you do. That's what
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, we're a
Well,
business platform.
yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, "Hey, nice to connect. I'm a healthcare coach. If you ever need help with that, let me know. Pleasure to connect." And you leave it at that. To me, there's nothing wrong with that because you're just telling what you do, but you're not saying, "Hey, I've got this product you should get."
Yeah.
You're just letting them
And the
know what
other
you do
thing,
so that you're available if they want.
exactly. And then the other thing that working with LinkedIn, it's not about just connecting with people. And if you want to have a huge following, you got to really dive and spend some time on LinkedIn just connecting, but also commenting and following people and reading their posts. Find out what they're really about and then commenting on it and saying, that really inspired me.
Mm.
I've made friends with this amazing young woman, Malia, Malia, now I can't remember the last name, but Malia Fivelson, amazing woman. And we become great friends. And she shared a podcast with me that I listened today that really hit my heart. And I'm going to comment back on that.
Mm.
It has nothing to do with isogenics. It has nothing to do with me selling anything, but it's about she created value for me. And I'm probably going to share that because that's going to create value from other people. So that helps her with her build her LinkedIn, helps me build it's all about helping others. If you look at LinkedIn as a going to a big networking event and connecting with people and helping each other out, you're going to have great success on LinkedIn and with your business.
Hmm. What well, since you're in the healthcare industry, putting supplements or anything aside, a lot of people are busy. They either have
Mm-hmm.
a full-time job and a family, or maybe both, or maybe two jobs. Do you ever give any tips to people? What are some like easy healthcare tips for people who are really busy that you would recommend?
Well, big thing. I mean, well, of course, my program is great for people that are busy because they're meal replacement shakes, and each one is equivalent to about 20 Subway sandwiches in nutrition, and it's easy. I mean, when I started this, I had 3 kids here, 2 teenagers and a little boy, and it's like, I don't know if you know what it's like, but if you have
No, I don't
small
have
kids,
kids, and thank God for
it's
that.
crazy.
Not
My
for me.
husband was getting the little one ready. I'm getting the high schoolers up, and I'm, you know, trying to get out the door at 6:30 in the morning because I would start seeing patients at 7. So I would whip into Starbucks, get a chai tea soy latte and a muffin, a healthy, muffin, and that was my breakfast. That was my schedule. So here comes isogenics. I took the darn stuff to work. I'd leave the house, get everything done. I'd leave the house and drive it straight into work, blend a shake, and I'm going. I mean, I'm boom, boom, boom. It created a lot of ease. But if you don't want to do isogenics, the other thing that before isogenics, I'm very health conscious. I would juice. uh, daily to help my health because our foods are so bankrupt that you really, and when I say juice, I'm not talking about apple juice, bananas, and I'm talking about kale, cilantro, putting a little scoop of nutritional yeast and a little bit of water, some apple cider vinegar, and that was my juice. It was a green juice. If I had time in the morning, I would make that and go to work with it, or I'd stop at the Starbucks and get my thing. Or I'd do that juice in the evening. To me, I still juice. It's so important to have raw foods. Meal planning as a family, if you're a busy family with kids, you want to have a plan because if you have a baseball game at 6 at night and you're going to get home at 8 or finish up at 7:30 that and you don't have dinner ready, that means you're stopping somewhere to get fast food or you're stopping to eat out. You're going to spend more money
Mm.
and you're going to eat unhealthy and that leads to a lot of obesity. Everybody's in a hurry. So make your own food. If you have a busy day, then use the crock pot. There's a lot of healthy recipes out there. In fact, if anybody here listening is on Facebook, connect with me. You can find me there. I have a private nutrition group there. It's a nutrition coaching group that I have that I have recipes in there, healthy tips and all sorts of things. But if you are busy, you've got to meal prep. You have to know if you don't have a plan, your plan is to fail. You're going to wind up at McDonald's or at fast food
Yeah, that's
because
what
it
I've learned.
happens.
And what was
The
it?
other thing is supplement, take vitamins. Uh, and juicing to me is so important because we got to get that nutrition in us. And 1 cup of spinach back in the 50s, you could get all the iron supplement, your daily requirement for iron, you had it in a cup of spinach. Now you need about, it used to be 48. I'm sure it's up in the 50s just because we've overfarmed our soils and the pesticides, etc. I mean, you could research all this. I also recommend Dr. Joel Furman has a great book called Diet for a New America. No, God, no, that's another book. But Diet for a New America is good. But look up Joel Furman.
Okay.
He had a book, Eat to Live. That's a great book. Uh, and we should really start eating more plant-based. That's another thing. Everything's, everything has to have meat in it, and you really don't. We're
Mm.
not meant to eat so much meat the way we do in our society.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was it you said you drink? It was soy chai latte.
Yeah, I would stop at Starbucks and get a soy chai tea latte.
The reason I ask is there's that one scene in that movie Best in Show. Do you remember that movie?
No,
It came out in
I'll,
2000.
I'll have to look at it.
It's
I
about
have to watch.
it's a really dry, it's really dry humor. They did Best in Show, A Mighty Wind. Um, it's Christopher Guest. It's the guy from American Pie with the big eyebrows.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Eugene Levy.
I'll have to
Okay.
watch that.
Anyways, it's a classic movie. It came out in 2000, and
Mhm.
it was very highly rated by critics. But there's a scene in there where they're talking about. Anyways, you know what? Just rent the movie on Amazon. That's probably what, $3.
Okay,
It's really dry humor,
I
and
love that.
it's like a parody, and it's about a bunch of people who are dog lovers who enter a dog competition. And it had Fred Willard, rest in peace. Um, but yeah, just I'm like, maybe next week I'll send you a message on LinkedIn and remind you, hey, did you watch Best in Show?
Best in Show.
Best in
I'm gonna
Show.
have to write. I'm gonna have to write that down.
It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Well, I'm
And
gonna watch it tonight because my husband and I are always looking for good movies.
oh,
So
this is
I'll
date night
definitely.
tonight for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, Thursday, you said. So
yeah.
yeah, and it's but you know what I really like about it is I don't know, maybe I'm defining it wrong. It's kind of like a parody, and sometimes a parody can go south and be really lousy.
Hmm.
But Best in Show is yeah. Just watch it. And it's in the beginning when the soy chai latte thing um comes up. So
All right.
it's the scene where the couple talks about how they met. And yeah, anyways, Best in Show.
All right. Perfect.
You got to watch it. I'll message you next week to see if you watched it and tell me if you like it. But anyways, okay, back to nutrition and so before we wrap up here in a few minutes, let me just ask you, how about now? Do you deal with like exercise much, or is it more just the like the diet aspect?
So my program is a nutritional rebalancing system,
Oh, okay,
and a
okay.
lot of people, to get results, you don't have to work out. I
No,
have a
diet's
girl
what,
that just
80% of it or something?
80% of for to get results, 80% is nutrition, 20% is what you do at the gym. But if you want to have cut abs and you want to have muscle, like really big muscle definition, you got to work out. You're not going to
Yep.
have ripped abs without working out. It's just not going to happen. Now, I have professional athletes that have joined my team, and they have muscle memory and they do start getting that definition really quick without going to the gym. Those are the only ones. But otherwise, you got to go to the gym. But the beautiful thing, with isogenics, it's high dense nutrition. Our whey protein is non denatured. That means it's cold pressed. So it's more bioavailable for your body to use. It's 24 grams or 36 grams of non denatured whey protein. And you start losing fat and building muscle. And when you add exercise, that takes it to another level. And you start feeling better. I mean, it's a system. It's not just shakes. It's a system that works synergistically for optimal results. So what people start experiencing is more energy, better sleep. Uh, their skin gets healthier. They just start feeling overall better wellness. And I mean, that's really goodness. That's what people are looking for nowadays. And with that better energy, all of a sudden they're not tired anymore,
Mhm.
they start going to the gym. And I mean, my private group has workouts in there that you could do at home. Private, there's tips and all sorts of things that you can use. But what I found is people that never exercised before start going to the gym. And I
Mm.
think exercise is so important, whether it's just a walk. I mean, and with exercise, I always recommend people, if you don't like to lift weights or you don't like running, or don't go run. Find some activity that you like, and then you're going to do it you're going to do it 4, 5, 6 days a week. It can't be painful. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
doing something that you hate, you're just not going to do it.
Yeah. So, so before I let you go, is there anything I didn't cover or anything that you would like to say that maybe we didn't get to, or maybe there's a question you want me to ask that I didn't ask?
Well, the biggest thing, with your podcast is, how do these people do it? They go from nurse practitioner to successful network marketer entrepreneur. How did they do it? I mean, I never would imagine that I would have earned over $1 million doing what I do. It's just, if you would have told me that when I first started, I would have laughed in your face. But anything is possible. I have a vision board right here on the side with all my goals. If you set those goals of what you want and you just get started and you don't quit, I've had wall kicking moments. Everybody does.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. They just see the success, but don't realize that, hey, she was up till 2 in the morning sometimes and got up and went to work. She was at work at 7. You know, there were nights that I did that, but I knew I had a vision of what I wanted, and I could see, I saw what was going on. And one of the best industries to me, and I wish I would have been more open to it when I was younger, is network marketing. I mean, it's you can there it takes little amount of money to get started. There's a low investment with a big return,
Mm.
but you got to work. It's
Yeah.
not a rich quick scheme like most people think. You got to put the work in, and if you treat it like a business, you're going to get paid like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, you're going to get paid like a hobby.
Yeah.
And when you decide to do it, you don't say, I'm going to try, I'm going to give it 3 months. No, I didn't give it 3 months. I made the decision and I gave it like my all. There was no time limit. And it just started to build. So it doesn't matter what you do. Make that decision, commit, and you stay consistent. You show up. And if anybody's interested in, connecting with me, learning more about what I do, you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook. Uh, you know, I'm pretty easy to find, or they can reach me. I mean, they could text me at 803-381-0977.
Well, cool. Well, hey, I appreciate your time, and hey,
Yeah,
congrats on your success. I always
thank you.
love, I think one of my favorite success stories is where somebody was here and they were just fed up or tired with it, and they just said, I want something better, and they go out
Mhm.
and make it. And
Yeah,
so, I say, kudos to you because that's awesome. A lot of people want that, but they won't put in the work or they don't know how, but you did put in the work and you
yeah,
did figure out how.
yeah. I
So
didn't know how. I did not know how. I'd
nobody
never done
does,
anything like this.
but you just, you went and you did it and you find out as you go.
Yeah.
So that's, I praise that. That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much,
And no,
and
no,
I
I'm being
appreciate you
sincere
having me.
because I just love, I love success stories, whether it's a small success, somebody lost 40 pounds, or whether
Mhm.
it's a big success like what you've done, or whether it's I don't know, the be all end all of success, I don't know, the
Mhm.
Bill Gates, where you're one of the richest guys in the world. I don't know, whatever. But it's just great to see. So I wish you only more success, and I
Thank
thank
you.
you for your time.